A former UK ambassador is arrested for visa violations just hours before London announces fresh sanctions on Myanmar. Are Vicky Bowman and her husband political pawns in a game of hostage diplomacy? And how should the UK manage efforts to free them alongside pledges to punish the regime?
The interview you're about to hear was recorded with Htein Lin, who was free at the time that we spoke. Yet, unfortunately, in the time it took us to produce this episode, the military regime took this freedom away. His fate at present is unknown. So it is with a great feeling of heaviness that I speak with you now. The circumstances behind Htein Lin's abduction remain unclear. Also unclear is what trumped-up charges and phony evidence the Burmese military fabricated when apprehending him and his wife, Vicky Bowman, who happens to be the former British ambassador to Myanmar. I believe this was the last interview Htein Lin gave before his freedom was taken away. Like other interviews you'll find throughout his storied career, his courage and conviction resound through this talk as well. As you'll hear in the following interview, both Htein Lin and Vicky are dedicated Vipassana meditators in the tradition of SN Goenka, and our interview sessions had to be planned around their sitting time. In addition to steadfastly following Goenka's guidance to sit 2 hours daily, they have also frequently sat intensive meditation courses, both 10-day silent retreats as well as longer courses. In fact, just after this interview was recorded, they were going off to sit in Taunji and expressed delight to me that they were enrolled in the inaugural course there. It's my sincere hope that their many years of Dhamma practice come to their aid as they now find themselves locked behind bars, and like so many others who we've spoken to who have found themselves in similar challenging circumstances, their meditation practice can come to support them in this dark period. Sadly, Htein Lin had already experienced unspeakable torture in a previous prison sentence. His is a story of survival, perseverance, and the power of the human spirit. And not only did Htein Lin survive his last bout of incarceration, he was able to maintain his humanity in the process. Nurtured by Vipassana meditation and expressed through his immense creative gifts as an artist, he did not allow the Tatmadaw to take away his balance of mind or his conviction to continue seeking freedom while advocating on behalf of others. His courage and sacrifice are an inspiration for us all. So powerful and alive was his art that prisoners on death row donated to him the one thing they possessed, their lungji, which he used for his art. Imagine dozens of political prisoners sitting naked for months, just so Htein Lin could create his artwork, which fortunately managed to get smuggled out and was seen by the world. It also speaks to how desperate the longing for freedom is in Myanmar. But Htein Lin is back in prison now, and we have no idea what brutality awaits this time, both for him and his wife, Vicky. There is also a feeling of helplessness as the military continues to assault the most shining lights of Burmese society. There's also a feeling of disgust and desperation as the world continues to stand by. We ask listeners to please do whatever you can to make your voice and your action join in the momentum of those of us still standing wherever we are to resist and oppose this fascist regime. Don't think that you're too small to help. Even the smallest action matters now. Finally, a note on some technical issues in the interview that follows. As you'll hear, the recording quality of this discussion is not as high as our normal episodes on Inside Myanmar podcast. This is partly why the episode's release was delayed, as we were working with our sound department to see how we might be able to improve the quality, while also seeing if we might be able to conduct another interview with Htein Lin. While the former resulted in some marginal improvement, the latter is, as we all now know, no longer possible. However, on a positive note, keep in mind that the sound quality does get better as the interview progresses, so please hang in with us. Please help us bear witness to the cry for freedom and human rights that Htein Lin has made throughout his work as an artist. Help us keep reminding the junta that the revolution lives on in the heart and in the spirit. With that, let's get to the interview with Htein Lin.
They are now in Yangon's insane prison, and if found guilty, could spend the next 5 years behind bars. Now, their charges may sound trivial, but the timing of their arrests is highly suspicious.
continue planting seeds to make way for the new, and root out the weeds to get rid of the old. Ideologies of the past have no place in the present.
On this episode of Inside Myanmar podcast, we're joined by Htein Lin. Htein Lin, thanks so much for taking the time to join us to have a short conversation.
Hello.
Yes, hi. So let's begin with let's begin with your story. And I understand that your story begins before 1988 when you were studying law in university, and then things took very different directions. So can you take us back to those times?
Actually, I really wanted to study art, but the thing was there were no art subject in university level, and then also that time education system you have to study subject according to you got the marks from high school. That's why I studied law in Yangon University. And there was, I'm very lucky, there was art association in university, which I joined. And but that time, there was like a regular uh, art exhibition, which I participate. And then um, also there was like like April now is there was like a water festival holiday, and then our university had a performing group. So and then I became one of the comedian of the Anye group.
Right.
Yeah, there's a like a theater group. So one
Mm-hmm.
female dancer, musician, four comedians, taking and sing a song and then make a joke, kind of. So after that, 1988 happened. I also participated in demonstration and back in my town and organized with the local people and get the like a democratic group and and leading for my region.
Mm-hmm. So you were caught up in the 1988 demonstrations and democracy movement at that time?
Yeah. So that time I became like one of the leaders in my region. So after
Mm.
a military coup um, in September 18, and so after that, most of the uh, students who demonstration joined the revolution, moving to Thai-Burma border, Indian border, joined the rebel group. It's also like now. So I went
Sure.
to Indian border.
Mm. And you lived there for 2 years, if I'm correct, from 1989 to 1991. You were living in the wild there on the Myanmar side of the Indian border. Is that right?
Actually, Indian side of the Indian border.
I
So
see.
look after local government, um, and like more like a refugee camp. But
Hmm.
we are actually hoping to get help from Indian government, like military training, etc. for our revolution. But
And did you
you
get that
know,
support?
no, we haven't got it. So that is also reason I left. Um, it was Manipur State. Um, uh, Manipur State is a battalion called Lekon's Camp. So and then, but luckily in that camp, I met one of the artists called Sin Ye. He's from very uh, successful commercial artist from Mandalay, and who also joined revolution. And then now I think he also living in United States, near not far from Colorado.
And what influence did Sitnye have on you when you met him? Did you learn about art from him?
Actually, he shared most of his knowledge. Also, teach us about basic drawing. The problem was we didn't have a lot of facility. So, like just do sheet of A4 paper, A4
Hmm.
paper, it, and just draw with pencil. So we could not even to practice with the like watercolor with the brush. So only pencil drawing. But um, but it was more important um, uh, about discussion with him. So it's like now I'm understood. It is like philosophy of art. This kind of goes.
So how did he make you think about art differently than how you were thinking at it before meeting him?
After many nights and many hours discussion and questioning many things which I really wanted to know. And after that, I realized I'm deeply understand. And to become artist, I have to find my own way and
Hmm.
keep practice and contemplate how to get I could become uh, an artist. So and then also he made me free, not depend the one which he did. He touched us. He
Hmm.
touched us. So more free. So after that, he said that you just create your own drawing and just go. So and then I I started draw a lot of design and illustration from our propaganda magazine.
Right. One of the things you've commented about your time with him that I read, which I found quite compelling, you mentioned how this mentor, Sitnye, that he was studying the works of people like Van Gogh and Picasso without ever seeing the paintings. He was just looking at the photographs, and you were comparing learning about the great masters from looking at photographs to your situation of being a student activist trying to bring democracy without ever having actually lived in or experienced democracy, just knowing it from books and conversations.
Yeah, that's so sorry. It was so sorry. Actually, it was that even he could not show any picture of Bengal and Picasso painting. So actually, like for example, we are our discussion about cubism, and so it's so weird. Uh, but I really want at that time I was so itchy to know everything about.
Hmm.
I got asked many questions.
Hmm.
But he also is very kind and he used his pencil and showed me how cubism looked like. And but it's actually Van Gogh painting. I just follow different deep yellow brushstroke music. So I just follow imagination. But after that, I'm back to Yangon, so I could see Van Gogh painting photo in art magazine or the art magazine. But actually, I was a fan of actually Van Gogh sunflowers painting was 2006, my first visit to uh, London, and Vicky, my wife, she just dropped me uh, in front of National Gallery
Hmm.
and then point to me. There's a lot of painting, including Van Gogh painting. I just went. It was so nice. I just standing in front of the uh, sunflowers, Van Gogh painting, and so
Hmm.
that time all kind of his work uh, to talk to me about Bengal are coming to my my brain, my memory.
Hmm.
So all
Hmm.
these kind of things. Oh, that's why these guys are talking like that. It's so nice, you know. You never heard about these kind of. You have never seen about that, this page, but you create some imagination in the past, and then it became real. It's so nice.
Hmm. That's really a beautiful story. Learning about who would imagine that one would learn about Van Gogh and Picasso in a jungle between the Indian and Myanmar border, and then many years later actually be able to see some of those exhibits in person in Europe. So that's really wonderful. So as you were learning about art and as you were becoming an artist on one hand and also a revolutionary that was working towards democracy, what did you end up seeing as the intersection between activism and democracy on one hand and art and creativity on the other? How did these things go together?
Um, Actually, it is uh, uh for the part of my life. It's because of this revolution. I didn't want it. I didn't want to be a revolutionary, but the thing is it just happened to our life as you know, as our life in university. So we, I didn't have a choice. I just get jumped in and I decided to fight. But uh, um, um, you know, if you really want to be kind of democracy, you need to deeply understand what is the democracy. But actually, we joined the revolution, and then after 2 years of in
Hmm.
India, and I went to China border, and then I joined the actual revolution um, in, with the Kitchen State. There was Kitchen State. So I became a member of ABSDF revolution group that's called All Burma Student Democratic Front, which I joined. But it was
Mm,
actual guerrilla warfare in my life. And heavy rain, all the time moving, and the military
right.
follow us and catching fire. So, and many of my friends who died in the jungle. So after that, also we have a really big problem. Um, uh, we have as M. So these M weapons became mad. So and one of the group accused us we are government spy. That was torture and really human rights, really horrible human rights abuse. And the thesis of my comrade was executed, and we finally we able to escape from the jungle. So that after that, I really decided to keep away from politics. Actually, um, these abstract are so dangerous. So, but when we were young, um, um, we didn't understand. We thought only we must fight for democracy, but actually, even not really understand what democracy was. So after that, I back to u- my university and finished my degree. And after that, I decided to be an artist in my life. So
Uh-huh. And you're describing the incident in 1991 when you left the you left where you were in India and
mm,
and you joined the All Burma Students Democratic Front, and this was at a time where the infamous incident occurred in the town of Pajau, I believe it's pronounced,
yeah,
where there was distrust and suspicion among the different student groups, and so there was some suspicion towards you and others that there might be informants or people working secretly with the military. So you this was a horrific incident, and as I understand, you were also, with your suspicion, you were subjected to torture as well during that time.
yeah, it's really horrible. It's
Hmm. And I've also read that in commenting and reflecting on this experience, one of the things that came to mind was the leadership vacuum, the problem of leadership, that groups will rise all over the place and in many towns. And when that organization forms, there needs to be some kind of leadership structure in place, and also trust among many of the people in a very sensitive and dangerous situation. And so, in contrasting what you experienced back then and what you're seeing with this current resistance movement, how do you see the comparison between those, the context today and what you live through?
um, I, I was really surprised at that kind of idea of revolution. You know, back to our situation, all these majority people are made decision for, but of course, but threatened from military and brutally killed the demonstrator. Uh, so that is also understanding back to that idea. But situation are so complicated for me. Some of the because of from my experience and seeing some of the young revolution group going away. So I was really concerned about that. I don't want to mistake in our history like Punjab.
Right. Yeah, and I understand as well that from your experience in Pajang that you also created some art based on the experience of having lived through that. Can you describe what art you created as a result?
I was serious torture, I mean, really human abuse. The worst thing is electric shock, which I got.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really sorry, actually, because we have a generator, and they didn't know how to control the voltage of the power, and then they just did the electric shock. One of my friends immediately died by
Mm.
electric shock. So that guy was, oh my God, the voltage are so high. That's why
Mm.
immediately dying. So they need to think in to reduce the voltage, and then they found, um, old telephone, because you have to wire with your hand, wire that telephone.
Mm-hmm.
You got it? Which I said, this kind of telephone. And then
Mm.
they took the wire and then put it in my mouth or tape with the uh, blaster, tape with the blaster.
Mm.
And then that guy wired it, speed up. And then that was so, electric shock. And then I was screaming, and, or even I closed my eyes. I could not. I could see that all these lights of the current. Um, so, but it it came from the telephone.
Mm.
Oh my God! So that's why I did the one of the painting called Torture Folk.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Graham Bay, Alexander Graham invited the telephone to communicate, not supposed to torture each other.
Mm.
But what
Mm.
kind of situation we are, So that is so weird. That's why I did one of the paintings is called torture folk. And then another thing is human cassette. And we were at night. We were. They said that they wanted to listen to music. It's kind of when they got drunk, and then they came. Everybody wake up. So they said that you are human cassette, and they when if they when they smash our chain, that is a right side, and this is a kind of switch on for the cassette player. So it dismatched my chin, and then immediately I need to sing a song, whatever song, And then when
Mm-hmm.
they smash other chin, that means stop.
Hmm.
So it kind of human rights abuse. So that's also I I do, and also I did another painting called Human Cassette. And then also also wrote this kind of memory and then published a book.
And what was the purpose of this torture? Was it meant as a punishment? Were you being interrogated and they were trying to find out information? Was it what was the purpose of the rationale of what they were trying to do with administering this?
No, at that time they are mad, and actually they should know we are not spies. You know, we are students, but actually it's power and hatred, and they also uh, uh, people if we if they became mad and enjoy somebody threatening and frightening to me. So that's also a reason to keep torturing and abusing like animals.
What lessons would you say are to be learned from this experience and perhaps some of the other misdirections that happened after 1988 that we should know about and the younger generation should try to learn from and understand in the current situation?
Actually, I was able to only survive with internet stream and also an art, you know, so creating storytelling, reading poem, and sharing each other the stories, and when we got a chance. So that's why I I I wrote a book. It's about that for uh, so the the student and the young generation have to learn. But the thing is, if you had kind of make a decision, kind of these kind of revolution, you have to deeply understand its kind of because of the people are some people are so mature. If somebody have a different opinion, and this is a kind of uh, danger for our organization. They're not uh, um, um, they're not ready. Uh, of the brain is not ready for diversity, and that kind of situation is always always talking about that kind of word. It's called unity. Oh, always unity, unity, unity. You know. So if somebody have a kind of different
Mm,
idea and create the idea, and that way thinking, this is dangerous, you know, and we need to stop. So this is the kind of the reserve has failed all these kind of revolution and organization became, disappear.
mm-hmm. So after 1991, you ended up being able to survive this terrible experience, and you headed back to the city and devoted yourself to art, as I understand. And from this period of 1991 until the next important moment that arose in your life in 1998, which we'll discuss in a moment. How did you spend these 7 years from 91 to 98? What were you doing as an artist at this time? And what was it like to be an artist in Myanmar during these years?
Yeah, very early of the, my art. artist life. It's very a lot of memory because I didn't have any connection in art in my family. I just jumped into the art scene in Yangon. I just came to Yangon. I'm an artist. That was shocking. And that kind of guy, never seen guy, and, came from Chang'e and so-called himself as an artist. But at that time, um, I met many good artists and also uh, welcome. They say, well, okay, welcome to us and sharing a lot of knowledge and helping me. But also, you know, alcohol, marijuana, drug. So that time is so wide and fighting each other at the liquor house. So, but um, the thing is, very young age, I'm trying uh, to looking for something really new. But the thing is, uh, there was no internet and also not a lot of artwork in Myanmar. So one of the group, artist group called Inner Art Gallery, who are me and other artists. And we have a kind of Sunday. Every Sunday we met at the Inner Gallery. The owner of the gallery, Wong, who have a connection with the sun and the seas, and so and then he called it Sun Art Magazine. So every weekend we met, and then we share each other both and knowledge. It's not for me. I'm glad, but actually it's quite very important for me. And then censorship was so strong, so tense, and so uh, who you had to uh, you need many paper of application to uh, for your art exhibition. So Ministry of Information, Art Association, National Library. I don't know why the National Library, the people from National Library need help. But they were, the son of Cesar Pope, and also, yeah, I think Ministry of Culture and the UK as a group came to your exhibition before opening. So you need to treat really nicely and give a nice breakfast and politely and opening and kind of thing are so important. So after that, I have to explain each painting is what which means the point. Okay, explain this and then that's blah, blah. The time, I mean, I most of my painting are quite expressionist, abstract expressionist, but I don't know what in their mind is seeing this is a lady. No, it's cloud, so kind of thing. But uh, they don't like it. You need to, if they don't understand, you need to put this painting down and and, and face the wall. This kind of thing. So um, very difficult to survive, um, and then also to create something new. But the thing is that these revolution, uh, 88 revolution, uh, are really good strength to push anti society young artists like me uh, to turning point to create different things. So, but at we weekend study group, um, one of the days we discussed about uh, contemporary performance art. So at the time, I'm also working as an artist and also have to work um, um, as an editor. Um, I got married and I got a very young daughter. So, uh, so one of my um, mentor, comedian, art, artist, actor, Sagan, uh, who also released from prison and became a filmmaker. And he said, "Oh, today, please come and work as a comic filmmaker because of you just did this painting. I didn't understand. Also, I don't think you can and make any money for you now, but because you got married, you need to regular income. And please come work." So that's why some of my days are working in filmmaking process. So I also work as the film and editor. So so
Mhm.
these the study group they also knew me. I work in the film industry and also on stage. So so at that time we understanding is a kind of the performing art is uh, uh, make a present and own body a as an artwork. So all these performing art using her body. So with that is very strange. But I think Htein Lin, you should test it. How because of you don't not scared to doing some idea and something in front of public. So that's why this kind of art form. You should you should make it. So I'm thinking, this is a we are this is a very good way to avoid these kind of horror censorship. You know? So that's why uh, the the history of our performing art became studied um, and, and underground art. So when my first performance and also like get out of the gallery on the street and create something and then come back to galleries. So so fresh. So and when I did a performance, every we just invite the selected guests who are artists and writers. So most of the event we 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 did it uh, the 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 um the day of the art exhibition, the closing party, and people get in the gallery and they shut the door and we did this kind of performance piece. But also there was no photo camera, but we have a son, but that's why uh, we got a few photos of that day. And then so there was an art magazine called Art in Literature, one of the art literature magazine, and, and came to me and interviewed me about performing art. So, it's, and then also some of the artists, we started kind of installation. So that time, so we test these kind of art form, performance and installation art. And that was 1996, 97, and then 98, and in 1998, I got arrested.
So you were really on the cutting edge at that time of representing your vision of society and the other things that you wanted to be able to say through performance art, not just the more conventional pieces of art. And we're building up your artistic talents and career. And then, as you mentioned, in 1998, you were charged and arrested and would eventually go to prison. So can you share about the circumstances that led to your arrest and eventual incarceration and insane?
Well, not the midnight, I think 31st of May. That's the group, and they came to my house and then took me to interrogation camp. That's MI6. And actually, they found, police found a letter. It's from my old friend from China who wrote his comrade. It's about to make to do some demonstration in two cities, in Yangon and Mandalay. It's about 10-year anniversary of 1988 uprising. But in the letter, and also he mentioned my name, and he said, "Oh, you know, Htein Lin, our friend, now became quite well-known artist and actor. And so if he involved with us, it will be, demonstration will be more powerful." So that is the reason military intelligence came to my house. So I explained, look, I'm really focusing about creativity, and I'm now working as also actor and artist. So I actually, in my mind all the time, I'm really thinking to create something new I haven't done. So I have no idea to do this kind of demonstration, honestly. But the thing is, many questions is about I trust them, or I'm supposed mission and compassion. They are seriously doing uh, to get the constitution. So I think you are totally wrong. You don't need that kind of time. So if you want to do mission and compassion, and you have to uh, release all these political prisoners, including Aung San Suu Kyi and this guy, and it's about to get a constitution, you know. But I have to tell what I thought. So I think this is what I believe, you know. So, but I said I had nothing to do about that. So, but the thing is that the case, all these people on the letter, we are about 24, 25. So, and got sentence. So for me, it's the lower sentence, about 7 years. And then some of our group 10 years, and about 20 years. And the higher one is the guy who wrote the letter. He's a high school teacher, retired high school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
It's 42 years. in prison. So that is my prison experience now.
And so, based on this accusation, based on this letter that was actually not correct, in which you were accused of being involved, yet you weren't. You were just doing your art, totally separate from these operations and these missions. You were put into prison for what would be 7 years. I understand that also included 7 months on death row as well.
Yeah.
Can you describe the experience of being in prison for that period? What was prison life like? What were the routines? How did you adapt to such a new and difficult environment?
So first, they sent to Mandalay prison from instant prison. So I was a few days in instant prison and then sent to Mandalay prison. The reason was there was a more people got arrested in Mandalay, and then that's why there's a special code to try. So in Mandalay, that's why they sent us to Mandalay prison, and then we got sent. So all these political prisoners, about 200 that time in Mandalay prison. So we all political prisoners have to live and, and separate compound. We are not mixed with other permanent prisoners. And all our prisoners have to live solitary confinement. But the thing, accommodation at the building are not enough for each person have not enough for all these political prisoners. So that's why some have to live alone in one of the cells, but some have to share with the other two in one of the cells, which were like 8 feet by 9 feet, and that kind of square concrete block. We have to share with other two. But sometimes they put you alone to live alone. And then only a few hours from the unlock the door and out and took some exercise and shower and back into the cell. So most of the time living in the cell. And but for the food is so horrible. Only lentils for lunch, and then also vegetable soup, and there's a vegetable actually is watercress, and they cut and put in the hot water, and then it's a soup. But we have a piece of the fish and egg for a week, so and then that's all with our food rice and the soup. So that's why all our family members have to support extra food like dry fish, chow chow, fried chicken, kind of thing for to eat. Without the family support, we we not able to survive. That's why all these family members of the prisoner are really important for our society. And then the family visit is every 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, you can have a family visit. But the other things, my family, my wife, my first wife, she is from Yangon, and my parents are also far than Yangon, so they're not able to come to see me. So that's why about uh, let's say about once a month, but, sometimes even once a month, she's not able to come. So, but then it's a good other prisoners sharing their food kind of thing. So, but the family meeting was only 15 minutes. We could not see uh, each other. There was a two chicken wire between us in distance, and only able to talk about family matter and no kind of other political information from outside. And because of that, one of the prison guard took note whatever we say. So when I sit on table, the guy next to me with the notebook, I also see another guy sitting next to my family, and whatever she say, and they took note.
And of course, you ended up being far from a normal prisoner. You would, in prison, you did not stop your artistic and creative activities. And not only were you constantly creating and creating with whatever rudimentary instruments you can find, such as whatever was actually found in the prison that you were able to use, soap or lunges, bowls, cigarette lighters, glass, plates, nets, razors, whatever you could find. But actually, an estimated 1,000 pieces of what you created were from prison were smuggled out, which was able to not just give to have the free expression reach a wider audience, but also feature a kind of commentary of the conditions that were being faced within the prison. So can you say something about your decision or your desire, your drive, however you describe it, to create art, even in those conditions, or perhaps especially in those conditions, to continue to look for ways to create art, where that came from and why that was important, and what your art was expressing during that time as well?
You know, the space they give us are so small and very limited. And of course, I met many. And, this, this, the prison experience is not all is really bad. But the thing is, I was able to meet in person as an actual politician who were living in prison for almost 10 years, 8 years already. But they were really smart, and and also they didn't feel any depressed. They didn't. I didn't see any depression in their face. And then after discussion, and then I know that they have a very strong spirit and political belief and for society, and they strongly make a decision to take the responsibility for society. And that one, I really um, um, able to see with them. So also, as an artist, I also need to take the responsibility to create art. So that's why not only painting and poetry reading and storytelling. So um, it's, um, a political belief are also very very important to survive when you are in prison. but it's not enough to survive. So that's why this is the art uh, so important to survive in, in that kind of situation. And so that's why at night we just sit and near the gate and shout each other and sing a song and reading poem and storytelling. It's a kind of entertainment. I also I do every day as an artist. Um, and then also start uh, thinking to create art because I didn't do anything and they put me into the prison and I didn't want to stop my art career and then also my first wife came and interviewed and, and told me, oh okay, then your friend who artists have a solo show, these artists have exhibition. So that kind of then all my friends outside um, I continued and, and doing this kind of new kind of art form. So I didn't want to stop. So and um, I asked her to brought me some mm, um, um, some paint which I left at home, um, and then also I need to deal with the uh, prison guard who were able to smuggle get in to the prison. So I need to make a very good friendship with the nice guy who prison was. So and then finally one of the guy kindly put a acrylic tube in his his boot when getting prison. And then but the thing is I got a collar, but there's a um, which I have to draw on it. So I found old uniform, prison uniform. So all our uniform was white, but now it's turned to deep blue. Quite difficult to paint on it. But that time is we have prison uniform white and pure cotton made in prison. So I collected some old prison uniform, like a shirt, piece of cloth from the shirt, or from some from long sleeve. And then, these kind of shoes, loungy and these cotton are quite difficult to draw or paint without stretching the frame. Uh, but of course, you're not able to make the frame in your prison cell. So also there was no brush, so that's why I have to looking for other way how to paint on it. So that's why I found the syringe from a prison doctor. I just took um, after he gave some injection to my colleague, and then I took the syringe. So syringe and a piece of glass and old fishing net, whatever I found is testing and using uh, how to paint prison uniform. So and then so of course there was many uh, things happening in prison. This kind of thing. So I also have to pay the, the, the subject. Uh, um, um, uh, what I see like as a document. So I understand it's important. Somebody have to take responsibility to see and make a record of what we saw in prison. So that's my job. So I was really surprised after 2, 3 painting I have done, and then looking back, it was so free. Uh, actually, uh, so I was in prison. Um, I could not do any exhibition. I could not stand any painting from here because we have an agreement. I gave a promise, uh, not making any show until release from prison. So that's why I could not make any exhibition, any from art. And also there was actually no art audience, not a lot audience, only like same-day and these prison cards. And also no censorship. So I don't need to worry about uh, uh, somebody got arrested because of my painting. Because of, I'm already in prison. I don't need to worry about that. So it makes it totally free. And when I saw it, in the beginning of the painting, I was really amazed. Oh my God, so nice. I never had done the kind of painting. So, and then also I realized, and I got a shock. Ah, so that's a freedom which I found in solitary confinement. You know? So the freedom is the way of my understanding and change. So freedom is inside your spirit and inside. Internal freedom is so important. So, and then I realized this is an opportunity to being in prison and to create something really, really new and important. So that's why I, this gave me a lot of huge energy to 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 continue to create whatever problem which I face in prison. I need to face it, but I couldn't stop my art activity. So and then after a few paintings have done, so um, and we just got and today with the prison card and to make about 2 hour shows exhibition. So and then the thing is at that time is the prison guard came and unlocked the one door and take shower and back to bed sent to in the cell, lock other cell. So that's so that we're not able to like doing a gathering all together. So that's we all have to deal with these guys, or Judy and give a very nice coffee and cigarette and food. After that, and, we got a chance. Uh, and so we have 2 hours. So and then one of the prison guard uh, uh, standing outside of our building. We have about 15 cells for one building, so about 45, 50 people in the building. So and they unlock all the door, and then one of the cell I'm preparing uh, everything is taken off from the cell. That's what took place. and then put a little painting, some painting on the wall with the toothpaste, and so stick on it, and then within a few minutes, there's a nice exhibition place, and the painting are hanging already have that on prison wall. That's in the cell. But other guys are not coming directly. I mean, they have shower, they are shower, shining, Tuesday, at the best uniform, and wearing smart, and then attending to my these secret meeting art exhibition. It was so nice. And I mean, now I have a lot of exhibition abroad in Myanmar, a festival, art museum. But these, I never will forget this little short secret exhibition in prison cell. Because of these guys are so intelligent and full of dignity, attending to uh, art exhibition. Even they never seen art exhibition in their life, but they are political student and educators, politician, doctor, school teacher, and full of dignity. So they were all our face on. We are very clearly see, so proud ourselves. It's our situation. We have an artist and we have an exhibition. We were so civilized, and proud. So we forget about the prison. We are being prison. We are very proud. We are saying with the other guy, we have an exhibition. So that is my uh, so this feeling was so nice, and all of that gave energy to create in the whole life. So if I'm some depressed and bored and have no idea to do and lazy, and just remember that kind of special occasion, and then give us within a few minutes and give it a lot of energy and being fresh.
Thanks for sharing that. And that really gives an insight into the conditions of being a prisoner and the community of colleagues that were in there with you and the artwork you were trying to create, even in those conditions. I understand you also have a background in meditation and Vipassana meditation. And I'm wondering what tradition you've been a practitioner in, and if you were practicing when you were in prison, if that was something that you took up while you were in prison and you had the knowledge of how to meditate, and if so, what role meditation played in your prison life as well as in your artwork.
Actually, um, it was made Mandalay prison because of um, we have a many misunderstanding and arguing with the prison officer who, when they found my painting and some my little soap sculpture, and they took and just right. So, and then we uh, we demanded legally sign on paper to get the right uh, to get the book and any kind of book, not only religion, other book, and, and to have to able to have our own library inside, and then also uh, right to learn whatever. Like most of them are students, so that's why English class and music class and Chinese like other language. So and then also better food and rice and also like uh, right to create art. But the thing, the situation was so, but outside political situation was so tense at the time. I also son of my colleague and and they were they served they were 7 years, so at that day uh, they have to release, but so of course uh, that day they say oh hello bye bye, and then they were at the prison gate, and authority came to the prison gate and extend their sentence and back put it in the prison. So we were also so angry about that. So and then also we demanded to them to release. So it's a many reasons, but at the end, year 2000, they beat us and sent to other prison and locked me and Mountain, who's a poet and now became the Ministry of Defense and UG. So he's a poet. He also very good poet. So he and
Hmm.
me and we were sent to Yaomyang prison and locked
Hmm.
us into the death row. It's so dark with the other dead criminal prisoner. So and then only 10 minutes a day to outside and have a shower and back. So means 24, 24 hours in the death row and like you um that kind of solitary confinement a day. And then we complain a lot and we just argue to stop and we're not supposed to put me in. We are not criminals or many things, but it doesn't work because of this interesting from the also head and of the um, like prison department and also from military intelligence. So prison officer didn't do any make different whenever we demanded and complain. So and then also we understood that is where we take now. So and then oh okay, we have plenty of time and then no communication with other anybody. So and I thinking, okay, we should do some meditation, and we have never done in, in, in our life. And then, of course, there were not our own modern artists who must be also doing some kind of meditation, which I heard about that, about his painting, because I saw some drawing of the number and Burmese word put in the painting. So some one of the actor asked why you put it there. Oh, I don't know. This came to my mind when I meditate. Oh, it's quite interesting for me, meditation. So, but that's I started meditate inside solitary confinement. But I have a very good friend who's the mountain. Oh, Htein Lin, you should not do that kind of these only concentration. We need to get a guidebook and why we have to meditate, and we need to be clear. So after that, we trying to get some meditation guidebook, which I read and follow these instructions and, and, and the guided meditation, and then I meditate. So this period are so important, and then I became a serious meditator. So we have many reasons to for meditation. Most of them are people get in the peaceful mind, uh, and and that's to get a peace. So that is the purpose of um, meditation. So after I read it, and also the what is the real purpose of the meditation, and which Buddha point to us, give a guide. And the very short word is, if you ask me to explain only one sentence, I have to answer to purify the mind. And this purification are so important. So any kind of anger and hatred, so anything arise to your mind, you are educated, and uh, it make you mad actually. So any impurity into your mind, so, and not only harm to you and your environment, it's harm all your environment. So that's why to get purification, less, so to keep practicing. So um, so every 10 hours per day, I meditate. So um, it it was not very good place to meditate uh, in the death row with that kind of criminal prisoner. And they realized when we started meditating, and then they make lots of noise, and they disturb us at the first. But day by day, and keep meditating, and our meditating was also progress a lot, and then they stopped and seemed to us. And then after about 6 months meditation, and our death row was so peaceful. They also asked me about why I meditate, and then they asked me how to meditate. So look, okay, I have a guidebook. So one of the guys said, I'm illiterate. I cannot read. Oh, okay. You want to learn how to uh, uh, read? So I can teach you. So, and then I also part-time as a teacher about the two guys who are illiterate. So uh, after that, I also gave a guidebook. So the prison death row was place are so nice and peaceful. Um, um, and then they became a friend. But that time, my family visit was cut, for 7 years, so no family visit, uh, and then no connection with the other political prisoners. But it was not worry about food because according to jail manual, all these 10 and criminal prisoner who got a death penalty got the right and extra meal. And so for us, just lentil soup with the awful rice. But they had one piece of meat uh, every day. At the dinner, they have an egg or meat. So these guys feed me. These guys, all they give us the egg and beef, you know. So and then the most important thing, they give their loyalty to pay because of this. We are definitely prison, so uh, I got a right to because normally every prisoner has a one uniform after 6 months, every 6 months. But these guys are also people say, "Where's your uniform? Because why you sitting here?" Oh, I'm very depressed. I'm going to die because of definitely I'm crazy. So I tear all these uh, my uniform and threw away. So and then the prison officer bring a new uniform. So because of this death penalty prison, so they are really mad. So they pretend. So they gave me their uniform. So some of the large painting at the time, which I during my time I painted. These low Jiwa is giving me um, these death penalty prisoners who are criminal. And most of them, also them are murder case. They're rebel and then they kill people. And then also two guys rape and and murder. So kind of so it's quite they have a lot of crime in their life. But I asked her, okay, now you are very nice to give your loan. Yeah, I mean, I never did kind of thing, giving people. I did a lot of crime, but that's a nice. Now I have a good good feeling. I could help you, those artists, along with us
Hmm.
without doing any crime. So that's a lot of painting. Is at that time if you see some of my painting quite large. So that was a escape from Japan prison.
Right. And as you were beginning meditation, so it sounds like your first experience with meditation was actually, or at least intensive meditation, was in the prison cell, and it had remarkable benefits in the mental attitude. Was there a particular tradition or teacher or technique of meditation that you were following?
Yeah, we have many techniques and many traditions in meditation in our country. Um,
Sure, sure.
yeah, but I have a kind of guidebook, mostly Seattle Uzodika. Uh, uh, he was published in the Tatmadaw. He's an educated person. He was
Yeah.
Indian and also interested in his background. So his parents, they were Muslim, uh, you know,
Yes, right.
but he became uh, uh, his own way, and, and he read a lot of books and, 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 and looking for his own way, and he became a monk. Um, and then very mature in his meditation practice. After that, he published some of the book because most of the his book, which we really admire and teach us uh, how to apply in your meditation practice in your life. But the imprisoned cell I was, it's good to concentrate my mind and some kind of deep samadhi. But the way of the path is to liberate yourself. Uh, um, my understanding was uh, we need a good teacher and good the method. So, but in prison there was no teacher, so I just practiced my own. A lot of difficulty, but didn't give up because of this is a very good time. And um, it this kind of practice it, and experience it, 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 it changed all my life. So I decided not to drink and smoking and drinking or and so when I out released from prison, I not drink. And also people say, "Oh, why you very straight?" So it changed. It changed. It's but the thing is that after I released from prison, I also became very short time as a monk and same monastery and practicing, and then also went to other meditation center and stayed for a month and a few days and going back and work and back uh, to different meditation center in Myanmar. So after that, I met Vicky and my wife, and so we married in Myanmar. So I moved to UK and live in London. Of course, it's nice city and a great opportunity to see international art world. But the thing is that after a few months seeing, of course, but we have a Burmese community in London. Occasionally, we could meet each other and speaking Burmese and eating Burmese food. But this is not enough to adjust my mind and being in the West and and, and, immediately move from my country to this. So uh, I I asked Vicky any meditation center with I could join. But after that, we found uh, the Martin Bar is great meditation center in
Right.
Hereford and run by uh, Guruji as a Goenka, who's an Indian guru and lives in the basement in Mumbai. But he was born from Myanmar and he became businessman in Myanmar and then he became teacher after he joined the 10-day meditation course run by Uba King, Siaji Uba King, former, uh, former and the general of uh, accounting. Uh, so, so after that, he left. So that kind of center, so which I joined in 2008. So it was um, uh, the peaceful um, place and my favorite place in England. So for me, um, it standardized the Maldives is so nice and seeing people because of uh, all the people and students, all the students we learn together about these meditation technique together, uh, um, of which I feeling was so for me. When I joined the meditation, so because in England there's a many people living together, it's like that. But after that, after the meditation center which I joined, and I amazed all these English and German and Spanish. I thought I was meditation only comes people, but it's actually all these people are also practicing in their daily life and they are applying. But I didn't see that. So this is only meditation center which I joined. After that, I see and people I have connected with these little society uh, which are practicing same technique with me. That is what I mean. But normal people did just in we are also normal people. But actually, there's a meditator and their mind working in their daily life are different. So that is what I mean.
Right. I
You
see.
got it?
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Right. So we have these three kind of activities, we can call them, of meditation as one, art and creativity as another, and then there's the movement for democracy, for human rights, activism would be a third. Of these three type of activities, where do you see them coming together? Where do you see them impacting or informing each other? Because you've done all three in your lifetime. You've supported the democracy movement, you create art still today, and you've become involved in meditation. So how do these three come together, or do you see them coming together? Do you see them as operating very differently in their own separate fields?
For me, is balanced with these three things in my daily life. But a meditation practice, our guru, he is called the type of meditation we call vipassana. Vipassana. This is the type of meditation uh, to purify our mind.
Mm-hmm.
So he called art of living. So art of living. So that kind of uh, so this is a kind of it's art. How you have to live uh, at the present without reacting anything to any uh, happening came to your life, and and you not really rejecting and and and, and following, just and kept, keep your mind at the present, not equanimity, uh, without rejection and reacting. So it's the way we learn. So sometimes uh, when I this is because I have a many performance and art exhibition practice in my artist life. I have a many show now and many happening of the performance piece. Also, and I'm feeling is, I mean, very difficult to explain, but I try to explain what I thought. Um, because when I did it, uh, for example, when I did one of my performance piece, um, uh, I do nothing. I just wearing uh, the monk robe. I have a monk robe, so I know that the monk wearing his monk robe, and when they became outside, because inside you can wear quite flexible, but when you go outside, you have to formally cover with your body and kind of those, especially the way you have to wear it. So that process, I know that, so I follow in that kind of process to make my performance. So, and then another performance is flying. So I was like a prisoner, and the flying is came to me and disturb me, and I try to kill, I try to make flying away, but actually it was no flying, nothing is come to me. But I was acting, so sometimes I just cut vegetable, very vegetable. That's my performance. So after that, I announced, okay, so I make a flying song and pretending the flying is came to me. After that, I said I finished, and then I just living in my daily life. So after that, okay, Htein Lin, can you do the performance piece? So and then I take out the shot, and then I take out the shot and tie it in my hand with a roll or either roll or tape. So after that, so I said this is a duration. So sometimes quite short, and sometimes duration of performance, which I done and I just did. One of the performance piece I did a very traditional performance from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 5 hour performance piece or just stand still. It's called stand still. So I
Wow.
yes, it's stand still. I didn't move
Hmm.
anything, just standing uh,
Wow. I see.
in the middle of the bamboo bucket. I stepped on it in the bamboo bucket, and that was surrounded, uh, candlelight surrounded by me. But actually, I didn't do anything. I just stand still. So, what is the difference? Is we call this is the art, and this
Hmm.
is a just not art. You know. So I feel I'm questioning again and again my for me. So I do something, and then I call this is my art performing art, and then I just living. Now I'm talking with you. Uh, so what different? So of course I know my performance. I'm talking with the people. You know. So sometimes some of my performance, I have a chair in front of me. Audience I invite and sit and we have a conversation. And sometimes I just ask many questions. It's difficult to answer. So and then this is I call this is the art. And then after that also I'm talking with other people. So what is the difference? You know? So I'm thinking they kind of thing. So for me, um, so in your daily life, in your in my daily life, I was living and communicating with the community and people, my family member. Uh, uh, when you communicate, okay, when I communicate to you uh, at this present, uh, without anger, without hatred, and, and also with the uh, being uh, kind and, and love. So sharing these kind of loving kindness. I mean, this is a piece of art, actually. So, uh, so that kind of moment are a piece of art. So when you are beautifying your mind without these kind of things, and you get in peace. That is also mindset is a piece of art. So that's why uh, out of living is the teaching from my meditation teacher. I try to be uh, help me a lot to think about the uh, as kind of art in peace. So, so that's why uh, if you are living in the present without reacting and share and then anything negative and then sharing with the or either loving kind and compassion. That's kind of thing and try to be in you and you became a very beautiful piece of art, you because of our daily life are so crowded. Now,
That's great.
look around everywhere and people need tranquility and people need to calm down. You know? So if you could do that in your daily life, practice, and you are a piece of art, you don't need to do anything, something different, new. Because of the artists are always suffering to do something, to keep creating something new and continue uprising. So this is the challenge of the artist community to do that. So if you try to be a kind of giving peace and loving harmony with the other, as you are all the time, it became the artwork for the society. So of course, I need to create painting to sell it. I need to. As that
Sure.
idea came to me, I need to create some installation piece. But in daily life, also try to be live in peace with the harmony with the society. That also very important for me. It's kind of dream
Sure.
and and traditional performance piece or art. You know, not only 1 year,
Right.
2 year. If I try to be, I'm trying, but there is some uh, might say there is crazy idea and impossible and crap, but you know. But if you believe in it, and we could try, it's worth it. And traditional, uh, these kind of traditional performance piece, and to be uh, uh, our
Hmm.
in ourselves,
Hmm.
to be piece of
Hmm.
artwork
Yeah.
for ourselves, uh, to be
Yeah.
creating our.
Absolutely. And I'm wondering what you think of the current artwork being produced in this current revolution. We've seen this outpouring of art from Generation Z, everything from hip hop to punk to graffiti to painting, performance art, music of all kinds, painting and drawings and artwork of all kinds as well, both in the country as well as outside. There's just been this explosion and flowering of artistic and creative expression in response to the last year of resistance and since the coup was launched. Uh, how closely have you been following some of the art that's been produced by the younger generation, and what's been your thought in examining how the types of art that's being created right now?
I mean, it was really nice. We were in street, but I created organized artist street and the artist community and artists, non artists or whatever. We have a platform, and so art material, everybody can join. So that kind of moment. And then also, of course, I went out and joined with a different direction with a young group who were demonstrator. So I seen some of the poster, t-shirt, and they were so creative. They were so creative. So I'm learning a lot. and that's why every day I'm following with them to seeing the way they create it. Actually, also music, amazing. Music was so amazing, and also performance piece.
Are there any particular artworks or artists that have stood out to you this past year?
Yeah. I mean, graffiti is really nice, very conceptual. Some of them during demonstration time I saw it, and also uh, one of the performing artists, Maki. So it's wonderful. She came to artistry, and, she she have a kind of little sprouting the seeds. Uh, we call Peppenbaum, and you put it into the soup. But there's a little root for each plant. So, and then she bought bucket of full of many bucket of these sprouted seed, and
Mm-hmm.
then there was a tarpaulin sheet on the street, and she poured all these sprouted seeds. There's a little root, and then she said, "Me pill." That means take on the root. So, and this is a Jewish performance, and everybody could join. So, and all the audience uh, uh, just and very long table, like not table, but on double sheet. There was as a group, and each person had focus and take on the root of the plant. So that was really nice, and very powerful
Mm.
street performance and Jewish and street
And
performance. My favorite.
who was that?
Uh,
Which was the artist?
Female artist, Mai. So she did it. That piece,
Mm,
I really liked it.
mm, mm,
Yeah,
that's great.
young artist. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I want to close by asking you a final question just about this current protest movement. You've already lived through a previous attempt at democratic reform, being a student, an activist, an artist, a political prisoner, taking up meditation. And now it seems, unfortunately, the same cycles are coming back to contemporary Myanmar and and repeating some of the things that have happened in previous recent Burmese history. And so I'm wondering what your thoughts are this time around, what as you've been observing and watching what's been going on and how it's progressing. What are your thoughts with where we're going? Are you hopeful? Do you see changes happening this time around that weren't happening in your youth, or do you have concerns that we're seeing the same thing, the same history repeat itself over again?
You know, we are in the war. You know, so every day there was gunshot and the band down some villages and bomb case in the city and small town whatever. There was a landmine. We are in the war actually, and now it's fighting for um, the democratic society. It's quite sad. Sound is so crazy. So together democratic society, and we have war. Oh my God, this is the kind of situation now we are. Actually, where's our political game? The how we ended these kind of happen because of we have also many young group and, with and then this kind of really brutal uh, stupidity with these kind of the military regime. I didn't see any going back and thinking to put right way to get democratic society. So this sound is like it's hopeless. But the thing is, this is not only first time and feeling hopeless. So we was also in like after 1988, it feeling safe after military coup and very given lots of pressure and put into the
Mm-hmm.
prison. Thousands of people
Mm-hmm.
and me in prison. We were also hopeless. And then also, I grew up in 1968, 66 after near win a military coup in 62.
Mm-hmm.
So I was 66. So when I joined already the military government, I never seen a democratic elected government in my life. Uh,
Right.
I, my the whole life I grew up uh, these under the military junta and then learn how to become artists and how to know and try to communicate with each other and also internationally and also trying to communicate and try to be part of uh, global society, But now we are back again. So the thing is, if you feel depressed and depressed, feel hopeless, it's help. It doesn't help, you know. So so uh, that's why we have to uh, live and try to do uh, which is the best you could do. Um, so it's a saying, I say, uh, it's been being in prison, because of these politicians who I met. It's very good. And the thing is, uh, I thought before I was in prison, and people said, "Oh, don't enroll in prison. There's a waste of your time." But when I saw
Mm.
they were these very long sentence political prisoners, they were prisoners free, they waste their time. So in that discussion, one thing is very important for me. Actually, we are our daily life in prison are very meaningful, and because we were on duty and we were 24 hours showing our disagreement of this military regime, and we were. That's why uh, we are not waste our time. So if we do nothing sitting in the prison cell, but this is we are keep telling and shouting, we not agree with you. We we want
Mm.
democracy. That's why. So
Right.
that's
Right.
media are very precious. This is only the place being 24 hour as take a responsibility. Even you are sleeping, we are talking. We are giving very loudly talking. We do not agree. We want freedom.
Mm.
We want democracy. We want peace. So
Mm.
so that's why our life is so precious. It's good, meaningful. So that kind of thing is came to my mind and changed me a lot. So it's the same now, you know. So we were living in a very difficult situation and looking for how the best you could do and take any kind of responsibility for our society, whatever you could do, and then don't blame anybody. Oh, you do nothing. I did and I did. Just take your responsibility. So I'm artist now, and, and now getting old, so I could not do any, revolution.
Yeah.
But I, so whatever I could take, so I just have to take. You think of which is the best to live is head for your society. So this is every human being have to do this. If you are a very good democratic society, or if you are with a military government or democratic, whatever, you have to face it because this is your society. You are part. You are part of society. We couldn't reject. You know? So just let's see how we could do that. To push, and then also let's see how long we have to wait to be right.
Yeah. I hope it's not much longer.
Yeah, me too.
Well, thank you so much for generously sharing your time and your experiences, your knowledge, your insights of a life of artwork and trying to bring democracy to Myanmar, and your background in meditation as well. These are 3 topics that are definitely have a home on this platform, and it was great to be able to explore all 3 with you.
Thank you.
I hope you found today's show as rewarding to listen to as we did producing it. These are not easy times. I certainly know this on a very personal level, as some of you might have picked up on from what I've shared in this and other episodes. These days, I'm now absorbed in doing all I can, day and night, to push through whatever is possible from this humble platform. As might also be true for some of you, this often involves decreased sleep, too quick meals, and heightened states of emotion. If you found this and other episodes of value and feel that this mission is a valuable one, please consider supporting our efforts by making a donation. As we've dramatically ramped up all our efforts, we are only able to keep production through the generous support of listeners like you. If you would like to join in our mission to support those in Myanmar who are being impacted by the military coup, we welcome your contribution in any form, currency, or transfer method. Your donation will go to support a wide range of humanitarian missions, aiding those local communities who need it most. Donations are directed to such causes as the Civil Disobedience Movement, CDM, families of deceased victims, internally displaced person, IDP camps, food for impoverished communities, military defection campaigns, undercover journalists, monasteries and nunneries, education initiatives, the purchasing of protective equipment and medical supplies, COVID relief, and much more. We also make sure that our donation fund supports a diverse range of religious and ethnic groups across the country. We invite you to visit our website to learn more about past projects as well as upcoming needs. You can give a general donation or earmark your contribution for a specific activity or project you would like to support, perhaps even something you heard about in this very episode. All of this humanitarian aid work is carried out by our nonprofit mission, Better Burma. Any donation you give on our Insight Myanmar website is directed towards this fund. Alternatively, you can also visit the Better Burma website, betterburma.org. That's BETTERBURMA.org, and donate directly there. In either case, your donation goes to the same cause, and both websites accept credit cards. You can also give via PayPal by going to paypal.me/betterburma, Additionally, we take donations through Patreon, Venmo, GoFundMe, and Cash App. Simply search Better Burma on each platform and you'll find our account. You can also visit either the Insight Myanmar or Better Burma websites for specific links to those respective accounts, or email us at info@betterburma.org. If you'd like to give it another way, please contact us. Thank you so much for your kind consideration and support.
The vulnerable include what many call the most persecuted people in the world. 5 years ago, a brutal crackdown took place against the country's Rohingya Muslims. While the UK has filed fresh sanctions against Myanmar, sanctions that possibly led to Bowman's arrest, there are an estimated 140,000 Rohingya who are displaced. Like Bowman, these people are also struggling to go back home.